Hello. Okay, I'm in the process of cooking. So while it's almost ready, I'm making pulled pork. So I'm gonna have pulled pork, barbecued pulled pork on pretzel roll. Uh, some some of those addictive cheddar sour cream chips that I really shouldn't have, but I'm going to crush them, crush it all. Anyway, I am going to have my little talk about places that I have traveled to based on what started it was I got this really cool cork globe, and I bought some map pins and just highlighted all the places that I've been so far. I've actually been out of the country way more than I realized. I have been some places. And since this is like one of my first videos, I might be looking all over the place. It's because I haven't quite figured out where to look. I keep wanting to look at my face and talk to myself. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to be somebody who does it really wrong for the first couple of times. Okay, this is Carter's Way. So I'm going to tell you about the first place that I went to outside of the United States was when I was approximately 17, 16 or 17. My father died when I was 16, and from his death, I started getting Social Security stipends. And at some point, soon after he died, a couple of months after he died, a friend of the family, Helen Mayfield, she was the first wife of Curtis Mayfield from who did Curtis sing for? The Impressions. My uncle sang with them, so I guess my family knew them. So anyway, Helen at this point was a travel agent. So she talked to my mother and she's like, we have a group getting together. We're going to go to Mexico, Puerto Vallarta. You know, if you want to come, come. So my mother floated the idea to me as long as I paid my own way. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And back then, wow, it makes me feel old. Back then, you didn't need a passport to go to Mexico. All you needed was proof that you were an American citizen. So my mother used my birth certificate. And we went to Puerto Vallarta. It was the first time I'd ever been on a plane. And when we got there, it was hot as hell. And I don't like heat. So that kind of confirmed all of that for me. Anyway, we landed. This might be pretty long. So if it goes as long as it probably will go, I'm going to cut this into segments. Because there were like 3 situations that happened while we were in Mexico that I want to hit on because I thought they were kind of humorous. And the first one being that when we got there, you know, it was my first real vacation. It was probably my mother's, one of her first real vacations. If I remember correctly, she had gone to maybe Jamaica before, or the Bahamas. And so we're there, and my mother was hilarious because she could not wait, would like run you over trying to take a vacation, getting on a plane to go somewhere. And to this day, I don't know why she would spend the money, because her idea of a vacation was to go to wherever she was going, get into the hotel room and read books. My mother was never trying to walk. She's the original Cleopatra. So all she needed was a good book, a Coca-Cola, and a cigarette at the time. Before she died, she stopped smoking and she stopped drinking Coca-Cola. It became Pepsi. But she didn't let go of the acid. Anyway, so we got there and we're having a lot of fun. It's very tropical. And when we got there, we realized that Helen was in some way, shape, or form either a neighbor of, but anyway, she knew my Aunt Gloria. So even though I knew my Aunt Gloria, she wasn't a big fixture in my life, so I didn't know her very well at that point. And she brought her sister, Barbara, I believe is her name. And I didn't remember ever meeting her, but she was a very nice lady too. But we get there, and for some reason, we were in a hotel that was a really nice hotel, but I think tourism was just really ramping up in that area at the time because the hotel wasn't even finished being built. Half of it, the half we were in was finished and ready, and the other half, it still had tarps up. It was hilarious. But anyway, my mother and me and Helen, for some weird reason, started going to this bar that was across the street from the hotel. I'm 17. I was thinking about this the other day. Why were we in the bar every night, and I wasn't old enough to drink? But I guess that was Mexico rules. When in Mexico, be a Mexican. So we would be in the bar. I don't drink. I didn't drink then. So my mother didn't drink. I don't know if Helen drank or not, but we had Coca-Cola and we just listened to the music. That was it was what was really big right then. Michael Jackson, I think the Thriller album was really big. So they were playing a lot of Michael Jackson, and we connected with these two young natives, two Mexican guys. They weren't much older than me. I was 17, so they were probably teenagers or freshly in the 20s, 19 to 20. And they were just young guys. And now that I think about it with my grown man mind, they were probably gigolos. I mean, they weren't getting anything from us. I mean, well, at least not me, because I was with my mother 99% of the time, and she was queen nerd, so nothing was going on there. I can only assume Helen wasn't doing anything, but they kind of glommed onto us, and it was cool because they were really nice. So we would spend 3-4 hours a night whenever we went there with these guys, and they'd be there waiting for us, and we would just listen to music, talk, and have fun. And I got to know my aunt a little bit. My aunt was a large woman at the time, and just hearing her talk with my mother and Helen, I got to see a little bit of her personality, and she was really a sweet woman. And she was really pretty. She was beautiful, to me anyway. And while we were at this little hole in the wall, they were playing all this great music. So I asked her to dance with me, and me and my aunt danced. And you could tell that she was shocked that I would ask her to dance, but she was also happy to do it. So I remember her, she basically did a two-step, but the whole time, the first couple of minutes, she was like, "Now, I don't know if I remember how to do this. So, let's just do it." So we danced, we had a really good time, and I kind of bonded in that moment with my aunt. She was a really good lady. She passed away. But this is one of the first funny parts of this trip. So in Mexico at the time, I don't know if it's still, I haven't been back since, but they had, we have squares in the sidewalk, like if there's a land shift or whatever, I guess that's the reason for the sidewalk will break in those specific lines, So in Mexico, they had larger ones, and they were stair steps. So you'd have what would be maybe 3 of our squares in the sidewalk would be one huge one for them. And then it would be like a 2-inch step down. So if you're not used to it and you aren't looking where you're going, you could have a problem. So we're in this club. It's probably the first night we were in there. We were having a blast. Music was good. The people were friendly. Everybody was talking. It was just fun, 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 fun. So probably, we felt like we closed the club. Actually, we did, but back then, this was probably 11 or 12. And for me, that was damn late because I'm asleep by 9. Always have been. So anyway, my mother had on her cute little floral vacation outfit, and I know she thought she was being extra cute. Because she even had on a little makeup. My mother didn't wear makeup, a little lipstick, and we call eyelashes flippers, my mother and I. So she had a little mascara stuff on the flippers, and so she was happy, and we were all having a great time. So my mother everybody was saying goodbye to everybody. And I think the guys' name were Gerardo and Gino. Total gigolo names, right? So my mother she had a little clutch and her little flowy outfit. And so we're all up and we're all saying goodbye. We're actually hugging these little guys because they really did become our really good friends. And so she hugged them and everybody hugged and we're on our way out. Now, my mother was being cute, you know, because she had on her outfit and she had a little clutch. And it was dark outside. There's no cars really going because the city was kind of shut down. And my mother forgot about that little step. And as she's waving all beauty queen like with her clutch, hit that step, missed her balance, fell down, she tucked and rolled. She tucked and rolled so fast that as she was going down, she flung her little clutch like a football. It flew out into the middle of the street outside of the club. She rolled over to the door, popped up like a jack-in-the-box. And me and Helen, I didn't know she was as goofy as we are, howled. I literally screamed. We couldn't breathe for the first couple of beats because it took all the air out of us. Whenever we used to bring this up around, or whenever I used to bring it up around my mother, she would get so angry. But then she would laugh because she knew that was the funniest stuff on the planet. But she threw the purse, threw a pass with her purse, rolled over to the door, popped up like a jack-in-the-box, and for a half a second tried to act like we didn't see it. And me and Helen are like doubled over, like, we laughed so loud and so hard going across the street into the hotel that we woke up the hotel staff and they ran out thinking that there was something wrong, like somebody was trying to kill us or something. We were like, we couldn't even speak at first. My mother was like, they're just stupid. They're stupid. And if you could call the police, I would want you to do it because they're stupid. But that was hilarious. That was one situation.